Do you ever wonder why time management feels so effortless for others, but is completely overwhelming for you? If you've got ADHD, time blindness could be the hidden culprit behind those challenges. But the good news is it's something you can overcome with the right strategies. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we turn ADHD into your entrepreneurial edge. I'm Mina Raver, and today we're going to talk about something that so many people with ADHD struggle with: time blindness. You've probably heard this term before, and maybe you've experienced it without even knowing what it was called. In today's video, we're going to break down what time blindness really is, how it affects your day to day life, and most importantly, how you can overcome it. Let's start by defining time blindness. Time blindness is the colloquial or common term for a symptom of ADHD that affects your sense of the passage of time. Where others develop a sense of how long things take passively as they age, those whose sense of time varies struggle to develop those skills. It's like your internal clock is constantly out of sync with the world around you, so you can't rely on it to determine how long tasks will actually take. I cannot tell you how many times I've thought I had just 5 minutes left on a task, only to realize an hour later that an hour had slipped away. It's frustrating, and it can make it really hard to plan your day effectively or even just get out the door on time. Fortunately, though, there are strategies you can use to improve your control over your schedule. Now, remember, as you go through these tools, your sensation of the passage of time may not become more standardized. That sensation is perceptual. What you're trying to achieve is an external frame of reference for how long things take and why they take the time they do, so that you can plan more reflexively based on what you know about the world around you, independent of how you feel. This approach will give you more control over your life and time without requiring you to change who you are, which is a far more self honoring and realistic solution to the problem of time blindness. The first step to overcoming time blindness is to develop a more realistic sense of how long things actually take. This is something you can train yourself to get better at, just like any other skill. It may take some practice, but the more you do it, the sharper your predictive skills will become. Here's how to get started. Before you start any task, take a moment to guess how long you think it will take you. This could be anything from writing an email to preparing a meal. Make a note of your guess, then set a timer and see how long it actually takes in comparison. When you're done, compare your guess to the actual completion time. Were you close? Way off? The more you do this, the better you'll get at estimating time, even if you don't really know how it fits. Over time, you'll start to develop a more accurate predictive skill set, which will help you plan your day more effectively. This simple practice can make a huge difference in how you strategically manage your time. Step 2 is to use external tools to help you track the passage of time. If your internal clock isn't reliable, you need to be able to rely on external reminders and cues to keep you on track. This could mean setting timers, using alarms, and especially using visual countdowns or count up clocks that show you how much time you have left and how much time you've used in a visual manner. For example, if you have a meeting at 2 p.m., set your alarm for 1:45 p.m. to remind you to start wrapping up on whatever it is you're doing. If you tend to lose track of time while you're working on a task, set a timer for 30 minutes or an hour to check in with yourself. These external tools act as a backup for your internal clock, helping you stay aware of time as it's passing. Remember, you don't necessarily have to stop or change anything about what you're doing when your timers go off. You just want to start building a sense of the difference between how much time you think has passed and how much time has actually passed. And if you really want to take this to the next level, keep track of how time feels when you're doing different types of tasks. The third step is to build buffer into your schedule. Switching tasks takes time and energy. One of the biggest mistakes people with time blindness make is scheduling tasks back to back with no time in between. This leaves no room for unexpected delays or the time it takes to mentally transition from one task to another, which often results in being late. To avoid this, start building in buffer time between your tasks. If you think a task will take an hour, schedule 90 minutes instead. If you need to drive somewhere, start getting ready 10 to 15 minutes earlier than the time you think you need to leave. This buffer gives you a cushion, so to speak. So if something takes longer than expected, you still have plenty of time to stay on schedule. Remember that this is about giving yourself a little breathing room. Even if you don't need it, it's good for your stress, which can make a big difference in how your day flows. The fourth step is to reflect and adjust regularly. Time management is not a one-time fix. It's something you need to check in on regularly. Even people who don't struggle with the perception of time often struggle to manage their time effectively. To make sure you're constantly improving, at the end of each week, take a look at how things went. Were you late to any appointments? Did any task take longer than expected? Use this reflection time to adjust your time estimates and scheduling strategies for the following week. This practice of regular reflection helps you stay aware of where your time management strategies are working and where they might still need some tweaking. It can also help you build that internal awareness over time, so you're less reliant on external tools and more in tune with how long things actually take, even if you don't fully know what that feels like. So, why does this process work? It works because it's all about building awareness and making time visible without the expectation of changing who you are. Time blindness happens because your internal mechanisms for tracking time shift, making it impossible to develop a reliable internal monitor for the passage of time. But by practicing these steps, guessing, timing, using external and visual tools, and reflecting, you're more intentionally training your brain to become more aware of how time flows, even if it doesn't change your perception. You're building a frame of reference you can rely on when your perception can't help you. Don't let this practice become about becoming perfect at time management, especially not overnight. This is about making progress step by step. Every time you practice, you're getting better at estimating how much time things take. You're getting better at planning your tasks and at managing your schedule. And that progress is something to celebrate. Okay, now let's bring it all together. Time blindness might feel like a big obstacle, but it's something you can absolutely overcome with the right strategies and consistent practice and reflection. Each time you take a step, whether it's estimating your time more accurately, using tools to keep track, or building buffer time, you're getting closer to mastering your time and setting yourself up for success. This is not about perfection. It is about progress. Every time you engage in these practices, you're taking control of your time and your schedule. And that's powerful. You're not just reacting to the demands of the day, you're proactively managing your time and setting yourself up for success and less stress. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and pass it along to someone else you know who needs it. And if you're ready to dive even deeper into mastering your time with ADHD, check out the resources I've linked in the description below. Please remember, you're not just an entrepreneur. You're an ADHD entrepreneur, which means you have unique strengths that can be harnessed with the right tools and strategies. Time blindness is just one piece of the puzzle, and you're already taking steps to turn it around. Just keep this up. Keep going. I'm rooting for you every step of the way. Thanks for joining us on Productive with ADHD. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss another episode. And please click that thumbs up button below. We'd really appreciate it. And if you're ready to take your productivity to the next level with tools designed just for you, a high-achieving professional with ADHD, then download the Better CEO app available on both Apple and Android. You'll find those links at betterceo.app and in the show notes. See you next time with more insights and strategies to help you make ADHD your unfair advantage.